Today the Church celebrates Saint Louis of France, a king of France, and the ninth of his name. At first glance, it may seem that we have little in common with this great king of a medieval kingdom. Most of us, after all, are ordinary folks. We may have a viewer or two in the world who is of European royalty, but most of us are ordinary people. However, we have more in common with St. Louis than you might think. At our baptism, we were each given a share in Jesus Christ's royal power. We were anointed with chrism on the crown of our heads to signify the royal dignity that is given to us in Jesus Christ. In the Middle Ages, when kings were crowned, a similar rite was performed. Holy oil was poured on their head by a bishop. We enjoy royal dignity and royal power in Jesus Christ through our baptism. We are given the charge from Jesus to extend his rule, his kingdom, to every corner of the earth, and most especially in that sphere of our lives that the Lord has granted to us. King Louis, St. Louis, was given the whole kingdom of France to rule in the 13th century. And Louis was conscious that what was given to him was on loan from the Lord. He was like the good, prudent servant we hear about in our parable in the gospel today. He understood that he was accountable to a greater king, that he was a placeholder, that his kingdom would one day fade away and the kingdom of God would take its place. And he expressed this faith, this conviction in his rule, always being mindful of the greater Lord to whom he owed homage and obedience. We may not be earthly kings or queens, but God has nevertheless given us a share of his creation over which to rule with Jesus, under Jesus. We are called to exercise the same prudence, the same faith, the same patience that St. Louis exercised in his earthly rule. An earthly rule that is meant to prepare for the endless heavenly rule of Jesus when he is all and all and recreates the world. Today, we are invited to embrace our royal dignity, the dignity that was given to us in baptism, to look at the sphere of creation, our jobs, our families, our neighborhoods, as our kingdom, a kingdom we are meant to rule with Christ, under Christ, and meant to rule with the inspiration and help of St. Louis, a good and wise king who knew that one day he would stand before the King of Kings. May we have that same faith. May we live with that same expectation of our good Master, the eternal King who is coming. And may we greet him with joy, like the good servants from our parable, like St. Louis, who ruled well under Christ, with Christ, and for Christ.